In this brief video, I'm going to talk about e-IDViz, or e-learning instructional design visualization. Now, e-IDViz is a new instructional design tool or process that we're currently developing that allows us to visualize at a very high level how e-learning instructional design programs and courses actually come together. Now, this is a pretty unique thing to be able to do because oftentimes how we typically approach e-learning design processes is we begin listing learning objectives and we begin trying to determine the instructional strategies that we're going to use possibly to design something. But we very rarely are able to see how all these things relate from a high level. So in some ways, e-IDViz allows us to bridge the gap between things that happen in the analysis phase of the design process, where we're looking at maybe what objectives should we teach to, what are some barriers or advancements within the learning environment that may help us. Allows us to take that analysis phase and bridge to the actual design phase where we're making decisions about how we should go about designing a particular program or teaching to a particular objective and the materials and things like that that we'll need to develop. e-IDViz allows us to come in and see the decisions from a very high level and be able to make design alternative decisions about maybe which options are going to work best from that high level, which is often not considered in common instructional design processes. So in many ways, e-IDViz is a useful modeling tool to allow us to gain a new insight that we often aren't able to get in our traditional instructional design processes. Now, e-IDViz allows us to really do two primary things, or it can be used in two primary ways rather. First of all, it's a very useful tool in initial design projects. So maybe the course or program is brand new, it's never been offered in an e-learning format before. You can go in and actually model that using these procedures that we'll learn about and be able to make the best decisions right off the bat. The other alternative might be if a course or program is currently offered or has been offered, and you start seeing maybe some things like complaints from students about the course, possibly the learning outcomes aren't quite what you'd want to see. Traditionally when that would happen, we'd kind of stare at the course and say, okay, what do we do about this? e-IDViz allows us to go in and actually model that course and very analytically see how the components are related and what are some possible areas that we can really focus in on to make good decisions about how we go refine that course. So in this regard, e-IDViz is both a diagnostic tool to be able to provide better insight and analytic data about instructional design projects, but it's also a design tool and a decision-making tool where we can actually see how it's related and be able to make the best decisions about the course or program from the instructional design perspective. Now, it doesn't make the decisions for us, but it does provide us with better insight into making the best decisions possible. Now, e-IDViz also really creates a common language or a common model that we can use as instructional designers to really develop and to communicate to our clients and to other decision makers, because oftentimes we may not have the same language in projects, and so e-IDViz allows us to produce a very succinct visual model that we can use to communicate our design ideas and the decisions that we need to make in a common language, which again is a very important part between bridging between analysis and learning about learning opportunities to actually designing and operationalizing on those things. And so in summary, e-IDViz really allows us to communicate an overall strategy for e-learning projects, and it helps us to also determine from a high level what the learning outcomes will be for a particular course or program. It allows us to see some of the organizational structure, maybe some of the strategies and the media that we might use to do it, but probably most importantly, it allows us to visualize and make decisions about the various relationships that exist between various units of instruction that might be within an e-learning project. And so e-IDViz, as I mentioned, is a relatively new innovation that we're working on, but it really provides some strategic opportunities to help refine our decision-making process and really help us promote innovation in practice as we go about our e-learning design projects. And so in the following videos, you're going to learn about how to actually go about using e-IDViz and what are some specific strategies that you can use to integrate that into your own practice.